Do you have a lot of tomatoes that you're trying to figure out what to do with? How about we turn them into some tomato sauce? It's really easy to make, so let's do it. First thing you're going to do is wash those tomatoes, and if they're large, cut them in half, put them into your stock pot. If they're smaller tomatoes, you can leave them whole. We're going to put about 1/2 cup of water into the pan. That's all you need. We want this juice to be all tomatoey and pulp from the tomatoes, so you don't need much liquid. So just add those to your stock pot. Let's take them over to the stove, and we're going to let them cook until they get kind of soft and mushy. So we'll be back whenever they're ready to get the juice and the pulp from the tomatoes. I want you to see how much juice these tomatoes have already made, and I only put 1/2 cup of water, so the rest of that is tomato juice. And I did also add 2 bell peppers to my pot to cook. All this is going to be juiced, so you won't have bell peppers in the juice. I'll show you how that works, but I've just added those for a little bit of flavor. Not put any salt or anything in yet. We'll do that at the end when we add it to our jars. But I'll show you that in a minute. But just wanted you to see the juice that these tomatoes are making. This is the one thing that you do need when you're making tomato juice or any kind of juice. You need something to get all the juice and the pulp out of your fruit or tomato or whatever you're using. This is a grinder or a mill. Mine comes with different attachments where if you want to make something, where I'm using the one that has really small holes because I don't want to get any of the seeds or the peeling from the tomatoes. Then this small one's the one you want to use. If you have other things, you may want to use something that's a little bit bigger. I got 2 different pieces to change out. But I got this on Amazon. It's really good. It all comes apart, so it's easy to clean. And I'm going to use this to get as much juice as I possibly can out of those tomatoes to make my tomato juice. Okay, I'm ready to get some juice out of these tomatoes. You can see that I did get a lot of juice as they cooked. Those tomatoes cooked up really, really good. So now all I'm going to do is carefully spoon these over into my grinder or the mill, whatever you want to call it. And I like to get as much in here as I can and let the juice fall through because there is so much tomato juice in here. Now, what do you use your tomato juice for? I use it in a lot of things. I make spaghetti sauce, or I make meatloaf or chili. There's quite a few things that I make with my tomato sauce. So I feel like, for me, this is a good thing to have on hand. So I'm just going to put a good bit of this into my grinder. And then what you're going to do is just hold on to the grinder and turn this handle, and the juice will start falling down into your bowl. I don't know if you can see how I'm getting juice down in there. And you're just going to want to do this until you get as much juice and pulp out of these tomatoes as you can. Because the juice is the part that we're going to can. And you see how it's mashing those peelings and getting out all the juice, but leaving the peeling and the seeds inside. So you can see that. See what's left? I'm just going to continue grinding these for a few minutes because I want to get as much juice out as possible. Just keep on going, and then after I've got that down a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and put more tomatoes right in here. And I'll probably let this sit for just a minute or 2 and let some of the juice just automatically fall in to my pan. And then we turn the grinder and start mashing those peelings and getting out even more juice. So I'm going to continue mashing these And then the next step is to put it in the jars. So I'll be right back. So everyone, now that you're finished getting your juice from your tomatoes, I've let it sit for a little while. Let any extra juice just drain out of this pan. I've got every little bit of juice that I can possibly get. I'm finished with these. So I'm going to take this off of the pan and we'll dump the peelings out. We're done with this part, and clean this meal press up, and I'll store it up again until I'm ready for the next time. If I want to make some grape juice or some more tomato juice, I'll get this out again to use. Now what we're ready to do is put this tomato juice into some jars. You can use whatever size jars you like. I have some pint jars and I have some quart-sized jars right here. I'm going to use these. And I'm also going to use, I need a funnel to put on my jar. Make sure that I don't spill it everywhere. I need a good dipper to dip my juice into my jar. And I need these two-part lids. You need a lid and a ring to go on these jars. We're going to get this prepared. Put the juice in the jars. I need to get one thing. I need to get some salt. We need 1/4 teaspoon in every jar, every quart jar. These are the quart size. In every quart jar, I'm going to put 1/4 teaspoon of salt into the jar, and then I'll do about half of that into the pint jars. So let me get some salt, and we'll finish this job up. Alrighty, so I'm putting 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt into my jars. As soon as I can get some out of here. Okay, I'm just going to drop it down into the jar. As it cooks in the hot water bath, which I'm going to tell you about here in a second, it'll become mixed up with the tomato juice that's in the jar. The hole in this salt is really small and it does not want to pour very well. Okay, there we go. Now let's just dip our tomato juice into this jar. It's really thick and it's got lots of good pulp in it. It's just some really good tomato juice. I didn't have a whole lot of tomatoes, so I just thought I'd take the easy way out today and make some tomato juice with them. There's other things you can do with tomatoes. You can make salsa like Mo did. She made a big batch of salsa. You can make some diced tomatoes. You can make some pasta sauce. There's just lots of stuff you can do. But as I said, I was kind of in a hurry. I didn't have a whole lot of tomatoes, so I did something that I know is really easy. And that is this tomato juice. So now you're going to fill your jars up to the top of the neck of the jar. See, this is the neck of the jar, and I've got my juice up to right there on the edge. Then you're going to take your two-part lid right here. Make sure that your jar is really clean on the top. You put the lid on first, and then you put this ring on. I think I have enough here for, I'm going to do this, right here. I'm going to do this pint jar next. Now, like I said, after you fill your jars, you're going to put these into a hot water bath. So what the hot water bath is, all it basically is a big pan with water in it, and it cooks your tomato juice in the jar. It preserves it. It seals the lid that you've got on. It seals this lid. Right now it's not sealed, but it's going to cook it and get everything heated up inside so that it'll put a good seal on the top of that jar with that ring and lid. So that's what you're going to do after you fill up your jars. If you don't want to do that, if you've only made a couple of jars of juice, you can keep it in the refrigerator until you are ready to use it. Maybe use it within a week. But if you preserve your stuff, like this jar right here was made last year, and it is still sealed, it's preserved, it'll keep for a long, long time. They tell you not to keep it for years and years, but I know people who've had preserved foods for many, many years. I don't like to do that either. I like to use my things up within the year, and then next year I'll do some more. But I do have some tomato juice especially that I have had for a few years. So that's what you're doing with these when you're canning. You're preserving it. You're going to keep it, keep it in your pantry until you need it, whether it be a week, 5 weeks, 5 months. It's going to last for a long time. So I'm going to hot water bath these. I probably have enough for another pint here. I've got to find another pint jar. I will put these into a pan with water that's going to come up to above the jar. You need the water above the jar, and you're going to let it boil, and it will boil for 15 minutes. When you take it out, you let it sit out, you let it cool, the lid will seal, and then these are ready for storage in your pantry, and they'll keep for several weeks or months. They'll keep for a long time. But that's all it is. It's really easy to make tomato juice. So if you have some extra tomatoes, you can't figure out what else to do with them, that's something you could try, is making tomato juice that you're going to use in your pastas, you're going to use in your meatloaf, you're going to use in your chili, lots of things that you will use. You can even drink this. You can pour it into a glass, put it in the refrigerator, get it cold, pour it into a glass, and drink it just like this if you wanted to, if you like tomato juice. I'm not a big fan of just drinking it, but it is something you can do if you love tomato juice like that. So there you have it, making tomato juice. Don't be afraid. Give it a try. Bye.